Question 1. A project team is developing a new mobile application using an Agile approach. During a sprint review, a key stakeholder expresses concern that although the current increment functions as described, it does not fully align with the evolving market trends, potentially limiting future user adoption. The product owner confirms the delivered features meet the acceptance criteria and definition of done. What is the most appropriate action for the project manager and team to take regarding this feedback in the delivery performance domain? A. Document the stakeholders' feedback as a new risk and inform them that the current scope is complete as per the definition of done. B. Incorporate the stakeholders' feedback as new user stories into the product backlog for prioritization in future sprints. C. Halt the current sprint to re-evaluate the project's entire scope and potentially re-baseline the product vision. D. Conduct a root cause analysis to determine why the initial requirements did not foresee these evolving market trends. Answer. B. Incorporate the stakeholders' feedback as new user stories into the product backlog for prioritization in future sprints. In an agile environment within the delivery performance domain, the focus is on delivering value iteratively and adapting to change. The feedback indicates a need for new features to align with market trends, which is a common occurrence in adaptive projects and should be viewed as an opportunity for continuous improvement rather than a defect or risk in the current increment. Since the current increment meets its definition of done and acceptance criteria, the appropriate action is to capture this new evolving need as new work, adding it to the product backlog where it can be properly prioritized against other potential features. This approach ensures delivered value while allowing the product to evolve and remain relevant, reflecting the Agile principle of responding to change. Question 2. A complex infrastructure project, managed predictively, is nearing the construction phase. During quality control inspections of the foundational concrete pours, a critical nonconformance is identified where the compressive strength tests consistently fall below the specified tolerance. Remediation will involve significant rework and delay. Which of the following is the most appropriate immediate action within the delivery performance domain? A. Approve a change request to relax the concrete strength specifications to avoid delays and rework. B. Issue a stop work order for affected sections, initiate root cause analysis, and convene a meeting with the quality team, engineering, and contractors. C. Escalate the issue directly to the project sponsor for a decision on whether to proceed with potentially substandard work. D. Increase the frequency of quality control inspections for all future concrete pours to catch deviations earlier. Answer. B. Issue a stop work order for affected sections, initiate root cause analysis, and convene a meeting with the quality team, engineering, and contractors. When critical nonconformances are identified during quality control in the delivery performance domain, especially those impacting structural integrity like concrete strength, the immediate priority is to stop the spread of defective work and prevent further issues. Issuing a stop work order for affected sections is crucial to halt ongoing problematic activities and protect project quality and safety. Concurrently, initiating a root cause analysis helps understand why the defect occurred, while involving relevant teams ensures a collaborative approach to develop an effective corrective action plan. This structured response ensures that quality standards are upheld and deviations are addressed systematically. Question 3. A project team is developing a new software module. Following initial development, a beta release is delivered to a select group of end users for testing. Feedback indicates that while the module functions as per its technical specifications, users find its interface unintuitive and difficult to navigate, significantly impacting their productivity. What process is primarily failing or being inadequately addressed in this scenario within the delivery performance domain? A. Conduct quality control, QC, to verify outputs against requirements. B. Perform quality assurance, QA, to ensure processes are effective. C. Execute scope validation to gain stakeholder acceptance of deliverables. D. Facilitate product backlog refinement to ensure shared understanding. Answer. C. Execute scope validation to gain stakeholder acceptance of deliverables. The scenario describes a situation where the delivered software module functions technically but fails to meet user expectations regarding usability and intuitiveness. This indicates a gap in scope validation, which is the process of gaining formal acceptance of the completed project deliverables from the appropriate stakeholders, specifically the end users in this case. While the deliverables might have passed internal quality checks, quality control, they have not been validated against the business needs or user requirements from the perspective of the intended users. The feedback highlights that the delivered product, despite technical correctness, does not adequately satisfy the usability needs of its users, thereby failing to achieve true acceptance. Question 4. An Agile team consistently delivers working software at the end of each sprint. However, the operations team frequently struggles with deploying the new features, leading to significant delays in making them available to end users and increasing operational costs. From the perspective of the delivery performance domain, what practice should the project team prioritize to address this issue? A. Implement more rigorous user acceptance testing, UAT, before sprint reviews. B. Refine the definition of done to include deployment and operational readiness criteria. C. Appoint a dedicated release manager to coordinate handovers to operations. D. Increase the velocity goal for future sprints to deliver more features sooner. Answer: B. Refine the definition of done to include deployment and operational readiness criteria. The core issue described is that while the development team is delivering code, the delivery to end users is bottlenecked by operational challenges. In the delivery performance domain, particularly for Agile projects, a robust definition of done, DoD, is crucial for ensuring that increments are truly shippable and ready for use. If features are hard to deploy or operationally costly, it implies the current DoD is incomplete and does not fully encompass what it means for a feature to be truly done from a value delivery perspective. By refining the DoD to include deployment and operational readiness criteria, the team will integrate these considerations into their sprint work, fostering a culture of DevOps and ensuring smooth, predictable delivery to the end users. Question 5. During the execution of a project, the project manager observes that several critical work packages are consistently consuming more resources and time than planned, yet the team reports high quality on completed tasks. This trend is causing a steady erosion of the project schedule and cost baselines. Which of the following actions is the most appropriate for the project manager within the delivery performance domain? A. Authorize additional resources and extend the schedule to maintain quality. B. Initiate a project rebaselining process to reflect the current performance trends. C. Conduct a detailed analysis of the variances to identify root causes and implement corrective actions. D. Reallocate resources from less critical paths to the overperforming work packages to compensate. Answer: C. Conduct a detailed analysis of the variances to identify root causes and implement corrective actions. When a project consistently shows negative performance variances in the delivery performance domain, such as overconsuming resources and time, the most appropriate immediate action is to understand why these variances are occurring. A detailed analysis of the variances helps to identify the root causes of the underperformance. This understanding is essential before deciding on any major course corrections like rebaselining or arbitrarily adding resources. Once the root causes are known, the project manager can then implement targeted corrective actions to bring the project back on track, ensuring efficient and effective delivery. Question 6. A project team is managing the development of a complex analytical system. The sponsor emphasizes that the highest priority is to achieve early and continuous value delivery. The team is currently debating whether to release a minimum viable product, MVP, with core functionality or wait to include several nice-to-have features that are nearly complete. What is the most effective approach to align with the sponsor's priority in the delivery performance domain? A. Delay the release to include nice-to-have features, ensuring a more complete initial user experience. B. Release the MVP immediately to stakeholders to gather early feedback and deliver initial value. C. Conduct extensive internal testing on both the MVP and nice-to-have features before any release. D. Present both options to the sponsor and let them decide, explaining the trade-offs of each. Answer: B. Release the MVP immediately to stakeholders to gather early feedback and deliver initial value. The sponsor's priority for early and continuous value delivery directly aligns with the Agile principle of releasing a minimum viable product (MVP). In the delivery performance domain, an MVP is the smallest possible set of features that provide significant value to stakeholders and allows for validated learning. Releasing the MVP immediately enables the project to deliver tangible value early, gather real-world user feedback, and iterate based on actual usage, which is far more beneficial than waiting for additional features that might not be as critical for initial value. This approach maximizes early value realization and facilitates continuous improvement. Question 7. A project manager on a large, complex infrastructure project using a predictive approach receives a formal change request to modify a critical deliverable already in the final stages of quality control. The change is deemed essential by a key stakeholder for the long-term operational efficiency of the asset. What should the project manager prioritize in addressing this change request within the delivery performance domain? A. Reject the change request, as the deliverable is in the final stages of quality control, and any change would cause significant delays. B. Expedite the change implementation immediately, given its importance, to minimize impact on overall project schedule. C. Follow the integrated change control process, assessing the impact on scope, schedule, cost, quality, and risks before approval. D. Discuss the change directly with the project sponsor to get an executive decision bypassing the formal change control. Answer: C. Follow the integrated change control process, assessing the impact on scope, schedule, cost, quality, and risks before approval. In the delivery performance domain of a predictive project, any change to a critical deliverable, especially one in final quality control, must be managed through the formal integrated change control process. This process ensures that the impact of the requested change on all project aspects, scope, schedule, cost, quality, and risks, is thoroughly assessed before a decision is made. Bypassing this process or unilaterally rejecting/approving the change can lead to uncontrolled scope creep, budget overruns, schedule delays, or quality issues. Adhering to the change control process ensures that changes are evaluated systematically, transparently, and with full consideration of their implications. Question 8. An Agile team is working on a product, and during a sprint review, the product owner observes that while all planned features are delivered and meet their acceptance criteria, the user interface consistently lacks consistency and aesthetic appeal, leading to negative user feedback. This was not explicitly stated in the user stories. Which of the following is the most appropriate action for the project manager or Scrum Master to take in the delivery performance domain? A. Direct the team to stop work on new features and dedicate the next sprint to improving the UI consistency. B. Add UI consistency as a new item to the definition of done and coach the team on its importance for future sprints. C. Create new user stories for UI improvements and add them to the product backlog for the product owner to prioritize. D. Explain to the stakeholders that UI consistency is a subjective matter and not part of the documented requirements. Answer: B. Add UI consistency as a new item to the definition of done and coach the team on its importance for future sprints. The issue described is a consistent lack of quality in a specific aspect, UI consistency, that, while not explicitly in individual user stories, is clearly impacting the overall user experience and product success. In the delivery performance domain, the definition of done, DOD, serves as a critical quality gate, ensuring that all aspects required for a truly shippable increment are met. By adding UI consistency to the DOD, the team incorporates this non-functional quality into every future deliverable. This ensures that the team collectively commits to this standard as part of their routine work, rather than addressing it as separate features or after the fact, ultimately improving the overall quality of delivery. Question 9. A global project team is delivering a new enterprise resource planning (ERP) system. The project manager identifies that while individual modules are being developed on schedule, the integration testing phase consistently reveals significant interface issues between different modules, leading to substantial rework and delays. What is the most effective approach within the delivery performance domain to mitigate these integration challenges? A. Increase the budget for the integration testing phase to allow for more time and resources to resolve issues. B. Implement continuous integration and conduct more frequent, smaller-scale integration tests throughout development. C. Assign a dedicated integration manager to oversee the integration testing phase and manage issue resolution. D. Hold regular meetings with module development teams to verbally discuss interface requirements before development. Answer: B. Implement continuous integration and conduct more frequent, smaller-scale integration tests throughout development. The scenario indicates a recurring problem where significant integration issues are only discovered late in the cycle, leading to costly rework. In the delivery performance domain, particularly for complex systems, waiting until a dedicated integration testing phase to find integration problems is inefficient and risky. Implementing continuous integration, where code is integrated and tested frequently and automatically, ensures that interface issues are identified and resolved as soon as they arise, often daily. This proactive approach significantly reduces the cost and effort of fixing integration defects later, improving overall delivery flow and quality. Question 10. A project team is utilizing a Kanban approach for continuous delivery of marketing content. The team observes that while new content is consistently published, there's a growing backlog of technical debt related to outdated website plugins and unoptimized media files, which slows down future content delivery. What is the most appropriate action for the team to take in the delivery performance domain? A. Allocate a fixed percentage of each work cycle for addressing technical debt, treating it as regular work. B. Create a separate, technical debt, project and assign a different team to handle it. C. Pause content creation until all existing technical debt is resolved to ensure optimal performance. D. Only address technical debt when it directly causes a critical outage or major performance issue. Answer: A. Allocate a fixed percentage of each work cycle for addressing technical debt, treating it as regular work. Technical debt, if unaddressed, gradually erodes the team's ability to deliver effectively and sustainably within the delivery performance domain. The most proactive and sustainable approach is to acknowledge technical debt as an inherent part of continuous delivery and dedicate a regular, small portion of the team's capacity to addressing it. By allocating a fixed percentage of each work cycle for refactoring, updating, or optimizing, the team prevents the debt from accumulating to unmanageable levels. This ensures long-term agility and maintainability, rather than waiting for critical failures or creating a separate, siloed effort. Question 11. During a product development project using iterative cycles, the product owner discovers that a crucial non-functional requirement for data security, explicitly defined in the initial scope, has not been consistently implemented across all delivered increments. This oversight is identified late in the project. Which of the following is the most likely underlying cause for this issue in the delivery performance domain? A. The project team lacked the necessary technical skills for data security implementation. B. The definition of done, DoD, for increments did not adequately include security criteria. C. Stakeholder engagement regarding non-functional requirements was insufficient. D. The project manager failed to conduct regular quality audits on the development process. Answer: B. The definition of done, DoD, for increments did not adequately include security criteria. The definition of done, DoD, is a critical quality gate in iterative and agile projects within the delivery performance domain. If a crucial non-functional requirement like data security is consistently missed across increments, it strongly suggests that the DoD for those increments did not explicitly include security checks or criteria. The DoD defines what done truly means, encompassing all necessary quality attributes. If security is not part of that definition, teams may focus only on functional aspects, leading to such oversights and the discovery of issues late in the project. Question 12. A project is delivering a new customer service portal. After deployment, users report that while the portal is functional, it often freezes or crashes when accessed by a large number of concurrent users, exceeding the initial performance expectations. The project manager confirms the system passed all planned performance tests based on expected load. What is the most appropriate action for the project manager to recommend within the delivery performance domain? A. Communicate to users that the portal is not designed for peak loads and advise them to use it during off-peak hours. B. Initiate a change request to modify the project's performance requirements to align with current system capabilities. C. Conduct a post-mortem analysis to identify the root cause of the performance degradation under peak load and implement corrective actions. D. Re-evaluate the project team's technical expertise, as this indicates a deficiency in their development skills. Answer: C. Conduct a post-mortem analysis to identify the root cause of the performance degradation under peak load and implement corrective actions. The scenario indicates a critical performance issue that emerged after deployment, despite passing initial tests, suggesting a gap in how performance was defined, tested, or executed. Within the delivery performance domain, when a delivered product fails to meet real-world performance expectations, a proactive and systematic response is crucial. Conducting a post-mortem analysis, or root cause analysis, is the most appropriate next step to understand why the system failed under actual peak load, which might involve revisiting testing methodologies, system design, or infrastructure provisioning. This helps implement effective corrective actions rather than simply managing the symptoms or lowering expectations. Question 13. During a project's execution, a key deliverable is produced and undergoes internal verification. Although it meets all technical specifications, a review by the marketing team reveals that the deliverables visual design is inconsistent with the company's brand guidelines, which were not explicitly documented in the technical requirements but were widely assumed. What is the most important next step for the project manager to address in the delivery performance domain? A. Document the brand guideline inconsistency as a new risk and inform the marketing team it's outside the current scope. B. Initiate a change request to address the brand guideline inconsistency and present it to the Change Control Board. C. Immediately direct the team to rework the visual design to align with brand guidelines, prioritizing customer satisfaction. D. Update the project's quality management plan to explicitly include brand guideline adherence for future deliverables. Answer: B. Initiate a change request to address the brand guideline inconsistency and present it to the Change Control Board. The scenario describes a situation where a deliverable meets technical specifications, verified, but fails to meet an unstated, yet assumed, quality expectation, brand guidelines. This constitutes a potential scope or quality change. In the delivery performance domain, when such issues arise, the most appropriate formal step is to initiate a change request. This allows for a structured assessment of the impact on scope, schedule, cost, and quality, and ensures that the decision to rework is made formally by the Change Control Board, preventing uncontrolled changes and maintaining project integrity. Question 14. An Agile team is working on a new software product. During sprint reviews, the team consistently receives feedback that certain features, while delivered, are not integrated seamlessly with existing legacy systems, leading to a fragmented user experience. The acceptance criteria for these features did not specifically cover legacy system integration. What is the most impactful action the project manager/Scrum Master should guide the team to take in the delivery performance domain? A. Add a new spike or research task to the backlog to investigate legacy system integration challenges. B. Incorporate explicit legacy system integration tasks into future user stories. C. Refine the definition of done to include seamless integration with existing legacy systems. D. Schedule dedicated workshops with the legacy system team to understand integration points. Answer: C. Refine the definition of done to include seamless integration with existing legacy systems. The recurring issue of poor integration with legacy systems, despite features meeting their individual acceptance criteria, points to a systemic gap in how done is defined for the product increments. In the delivery performance domain, the definition of done, DoD, is the collective understanding of what it means for work to be complete, often encompassing non-functional requirements like seamless integration. By updating the DoD to explicitly include this requirement, the team will inherently build integration considerations into their development process for every feature, preventing future fragmentation and improving the overall quality and usability of deliverables. Question 15. A hybrid project is delivering a new manufacturing line. The predictive components, e.g., machinery procurement, are on schedule, but the agile components, e.g., custom software for automation, are frequently delayed due to external regulatory approvals taking longer than anticipated. This impacts the overall delivery timeline for the integrated solution. What is the most proactive action for the project manager to take within the delivery performance domain? A. Request a budget increase to allow for overtime work on the agile components to catch up. B. Renegotiate the regulatory approval timelines with the external authority to expedite the process. C. Identify and manage the regulatory approvals as key external dependencies, proactively engaging stakeholders and tracking progress. D. Adjust the project schedule to accommodate the delays in regulatory approvals and inform stakeholders. Answer: C. Identify and manage the regulatory approvals as key external dependencies, proactively engaging stakeholders and tracking progress. The delays in regulatory approvals, identified as an external dependency, directly impact the delivery of the agile components and, consequently, the overall project. In the delivery performance domain, proactive management of such external dependencies is critical to maintaining delivery flow. This involves formally identifying these approvals as critical path items, engaging with the regulatory authority and relevant internal stakeholders to understand their processes, tracking submission and approval progress, and seeking to mitigate potential delays before they occur. Simply adjusting the schedule or asking for more budget does not address the root cause of the delivery impediment. Question 16. A project team has just completed developing a critical software module and is preparing for its deployment. Before releasing it to operations, the project manager initiates a review to ensure the module meets all specified performance benchmarks and functional requirements. What primary activity within the delivery performance domain is the project manager performing? A. Scope validation. B. Quality assurance. C. Quality control. D. Acceptance testing. Answer: C. Quality control. The scenario describes the project manager initiating a review to ensure the module meets all specified performance benchmarks and functional requirements before releasing it. This activity directly relates to quality control, which involves monitoring specific project results to determine whether they comply with relevant quality standards and identifying ways to eliminate causes of unsatisfactory performance. Quality control focuses on verifying that the deliverables are correct and meet the requirements, ensuring they are ready for delivery or handoff. Question 17. A large-scale government project using a traditional approach is facing significant challenges in obtaining stakeholder acceptance for its deliverables, despite numerous formal review meetings. Stakeholders frequently raise new requirements or object to previously agreed-upon specifications during the acceptance process. What is the most likely root cause of this challenge in the delivery performance domain? A. Inadequate quality control processes leading to flawed deliverables. B. Insufficiently defined scope and requirements at the outset of the project. C. A lack of continuous stakeholder engagement and validation throughout the project lifecycle. D. Overly complex change control procedures, discouraging timely feedback. Answer: C. A lack of continuous stakeholder engagement and validation throughout the project lifecycle. The core issue of stakeholders raising new requirements or objecting to previously agreed-upon specifications during the acceptance process indicates a disconnect between what the project is delivering and what the stakeholders truly expect or need. While initial requirements might have been defined, a lack of continuous engagement means stakeholders are not seeing or providing feedback on the deliverables incrementally. In the delivery performance domain, effective delivery relies on ongoing validation with stakeholders to ensure their evolving needs and expectations are met, preventing surprises and significant rework at the formal acceptance stage. Question 18. An Agile team is working on an urgent project, and the product owner continuously adds high-priority features to the current sprint backlog in response to immediate market demands. While the team strives to complete these, they frequently miss their sprint commitments, and the definition of done is sometimes bypassed to meet deadlines. What is the most critical issue arising in the delivery performance domain? A. Insufficient team velocity planning. B. Unrealistic stakeholder expectations. C. A lack of sustainable pace and quality compromise. D. Ineffective product backlog refinement. Answer: C. A lack of sustainable pace and quality compromise. The scenario describes a team that is constantly reacting to immediate demands by accepting more work into the current sprint, leading to missed commitments and bypassing the definition of done. This directly indicates a failure to maintain a sustainable pace, which is crucial for long-term productivity and quality in Agile delivery within the delivery performance domain. Forcing more work than the team can realistically handle, combined with compromising the definition of done, inevitably leads to accumulating technical debt, burnout, and ultimately, a decrease in the quality and predictability of deliveries. Question 19. A software development project is nearing its final release. During final testing, the project manager discovers that several critical system security patches, mandated by recent industry regulations, were overlooked during development. Implementing these patches now will cause a significant delay to the planned release date. What is the most appropriate action for the project manager to take within the delivery performance domain? A. Proceed with the planned release and schedule the security patches as a post-release maintenance update. B. Immediately halt the release, assess the impact of the patches, and integrate them, communicating the new release date. C. Escalate the issue to the project sponsor, explaining the trade-off between compliance and release date. D. Develop a workaround to temporarily address the security vulnerabilities and proceed with the planned release. Answer: B. Immediately halt the release, assess the impact of the patches, and integrate them, communicating the new release date. Regulatory compliance and security are non-negotiable quality requirements, especially for a critical system in the delivery performance domain. Releasing a product with known, unaddressed security vulnerabilities, particularly those mandated by regulation, exposes the organization to significant legal, financial, and reputational risks. The most responsible and ethical action is to immediately halt the release, thoroughly assess the effort required for the patches, integrate them correctly, and then communicate the revised release date. While it causes a delay, ensuring compliance and product integrity takes precedence over meeting an arbitrary deadline in such a critical situation. Question 20. A construction project team is experiencing significant rework on foundation elements because drawings from the design team frequently contain minor inconsistencies or omissions that are only caught during execution. The design team argues that their drawings meet the contractual specifications for completeness. What preventative action should the project manager implement in the delivery performance domain to improve delivery flow? A. Implement a more rigorous final inspection process for all completed foundation elements. B. Conduct regular design reviews with the construction team, focusing on constructability and completeness for execution. C. Issue change requests for each identified inconsistency or omission to formally track design issues. D. Allocate additional buffer time in the schedule for rework due to design inconsistencies. Answer: B. Conduct regular design reviews with the construction team, focusing on constructability and completeness for execution. The scenario describes a recurring issue where design flaws are found late during construction, leading to rework. In the delivery performance domain, preventing defects upstream is far more efficient than fixing them downstream. By conducting regular design reviews with the construction team, particularly focusing on constructability and completeness for execution, the project manager fosters early collaboration and feedback between design and construction. This proactive approach allows inconsistencies or omissions to be identified and rectified much earlier in the project lifecycle, before they become costly rework issues during delivery. Question 21. An Agile team is continuously improving their definition of done, DoD. Recently, they decided to include automated unit tests written and passing as a mandatory criterion. What is the primary benefit of this change within the delivery performance domain? A. It increases the project's overall budget by requiring more testing effort. B. It ensures that individual team members are held accountable for their code quality. C. It enhances product quality and reduces the likelihood of regressions in future deliveries. D. It accelerates the speed of feature delivery by automating a manual step. Answer: C. It enhances product quality and reduces the likelihood of regressions in future deliveries. Including automated unit tests written and passing in the definition of done directly impacts the quality of deliverables within the delivery performance domain. This practice means that every piece of code delivered is automatically verified against its smallest components, significantly reducing the introduction of new defects and ensuring that previously working functionality continues to function correctly, preventing regressions. While it might require initial effort, this upfront investment in automated testing leads to higher overall product quality, more reliable deliveries, and faster identification of issues, ultimately improving the flow and integrity of value delivery. Question 22. A project is delivering a new mobile application to a public audience. After the initial beta release, the project manager received significant feedback regarding the app's difficulty of use, even for basic functions. This was not explicitly raised during the initial user story creation or early sprint reviews. What process or concept was likely insufficient during the delivery of this product? A. Quality control, as the app was not tested thoroughly enough. B. Scope verification, as the team did not confirm completeness. C. User story acceptance criteria, which did not fully capture usability. D. Definition of ready, which might have allowed ambiguous requirements to enter sprints. Answer: C. User story acceptance criteria, which did not fully capture usability. The core issue is that users found the app difficult to use, indicating a problem with its usability, despite presumably passing functional tests. This points directly to the inadequacy of the user story acceptance criteria. While user stories define what needs to be built, acceptance criteria define how the feature should perform to be considered complete and valuable from a user's perspective, often encompassing non-functional aspects like usability. If these criteria didn't explicitly address ease of use, the development team would have delivered a functionally correct but user-unfriendly product, leading to dissatisfaction during actual usage. Question 23. A predictive project is progressing through its execution phase. The project manager receives a report indicating that a key supplier for a critical component has experienced a factory fire and cannot deliver on schedule. This will significantly delay a major deliverable and impact subsequent activities. What is the most appropriate initial response for the project manager within the delivery performance domain? A. Immediately seek an alternative supplier, regardless of cost, to avoid any schedule delay. B. Update the project schedule and communicate the new estimated completion date to all stakeholders. C. Analyze the impact of the supplier delay on the project's overall schedule, cost, and quality, and then develop options. D. Submit a formal change request to the Change Control Board to acknowledge the unavoidable delay. Answer: C. Analyze the impact of the supplier delay on the project's overall schedule, cost, and quality, and then develop options. When a significant external event like a supplier delay impacts a critical component, the most crucial initial step in the delivery performance domain is to understand the full ramifications. The project manager must first analyze the impact on the project's schedule, budget, and quality, and identify potential risks and opportunities. Only after a thorough impact analysis can informed decisions be made, and viable options, like an alternative supplier, schedule adjustment, or mitigation strategies, be developed and presented to stakeholders or the Change Control Board. Jumping to solutions without understanding the full impact can lead to suboptimal decisions. Question 24. A team developing a new online platform is using a Kanban system. The team observes that completed tasks often sit in the "ready for review" column for extended periods, creating a bottleneck and delaying overall delivery. The product owner is very engaged and promptly reviews items. What is the most likely cause of this bottleneck in the delivery performance domain? A. The work in progress (WIP) limit for the "ready for review" column is set too high. B. There are insufficient resources or capacity allocated for the review process. C. The tasks being delivered are not meeting the definition of ready for review. D. The team is over-optimizing their development phase, leading to faster completion of tasks. Answer: B. There are insufficient resources or capacity allocated for the review process. In a Kanban system, when tasks consistently accumulate in a specific column like "ready for review," it signals a bottleneck at that stage. Since the product owner is prompt, the most likely cause within the delivery performance domain is that the capacity for review is insufficient relative to the rate at which development completes work. This means there aren't enough qualified reviewers, or their time is constrained, preventing the smooth flow of work. Identifying and addressing such bottlenecks by balancing capacity and demand is crucial for optimizing the delivery flow and ensuring continuous value delivery. Question 25. A project is delivering a new mobile application using an iterative approach. During a sprint, a developer implements a feature with highly complex and non-standard coding techniques that, while functional, will be difficult for other team members to maintain or extend in the future. This is not explicitly prohibited by the definition of done. What is the most appropriate action for the project manager or Scrum Master to take in the delivery performance domain? A. Allow the code to pass, as it meets functional requirements, and address maintainability in a future refactoring sprint. B. Reject the code during the internal review and require the developer to refactor it to align with team coding standards. C. Document the technical debt and prioritize a separate work item in the backlog to address it later. D. Update the definition of done to explicitly include coding standards and maintainability requirements for all future work. Answer: D. Update the definition of done to explicitly include coding standards and maintainability requirements for all future work. The scenario highlights a situation where a deliverable meets functional requirements but introduces future maintainability issues due to non-standard coding practices. This is a form of technical debt that impacts the project's long-term delivery capability. Since this was not explicitly prohibited by the definition of done, the most effective and proactive measure in the delivery performance domain is to update the definition of done, DoD. By integrating coding standards and maintainability requirements into the DoD, the team collectively commits to these quality attributes for all future work, embedding good practices directly into their delivery process and preventing similar issues from recurring consistently.